Welcome back to the Real Couchwives podcast where we overanalyze all things Bravo.
So, Iris, we are back, and so is Vanderpump Rules with the season 11 trailer, and there are some bombshells that we were not expecting.
Yeah, but then some that we were expecting.
Yes, some things are looking like they're playing out just as a lot of people have anticipated. So, we're going to break it all down, all of the mess, all of the shocking revelations, and our feelings about the season coming up.
I'm so excited.
But before we get into that, as you may know, we did not have an episode last week. It was the first time in like a year that we did not get out a weekly episode. One of the reasons being that there was a really big move in someone's life. Iris, you want to tell all the couchies what's going on?
Oops, yeah. Yes, I moved to London. I think we might have told you guys at the end of an episode like a few weeks ago, but I've been in the process of doing that. And while it's very exciting and very fun, it's also very difficult and stressful, and also meant that I did not have internet for the last week. So we just were not able to film. I haven't even had, like, I'm so behind on all my Bravo shows that I'm like really stressed about that too. But
Oh no.
things are slowly getting better. We have internet now. We're gonna be okay. We're gonna make it.
We're going to make it. And you have to get like Hey You in the UK.
Yeah, yes, of course. I like immediately. That's the one thing that I still have to figure out, but I'm gonna get there.
Oh man, and like what was like getting to London like, cuz you were transporting like an array of
I
animals.
was. We were transporting two cats and a dog, and the flight was like so stressful. It was absolutely the worst thing that I've ever, probably one of the worst things I've ever had to go through, that's for sure.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, and we had to fly them to Paris because they can't fly in cabin into London, so we had to fly them into Paris, and then we had to get a car that would drive us from Paris to London. So it was like a whole
Oh my
ordeal. It was like
god.
a very long period of time to like not be in an actual bed. And then immediately after, 2 days later, I went on a business trip and I was in Bali for like a week and a half, and then like in Athens, and then in Barcelona and in Singapore. And I like, yeah, it was a lot.
That is absolute insanity. Like
It
what
was,
is your life?
I know. It's a lot right now, but
I
it's gonna get
know.
better. It's gonna be okay. It's almost
It'll
Christmas.
it'll get better. And we
It'll
tried
get
so
better.
hard too. Like we filmed the day that Iris flew.
Yeah.
Like a few hours before she
Oh,
got on a plane.
oh my God, I forgot about that. It's
We were
true.
filming.
Yeah.
So we tried our best. It does happen sometimes. And then to make it
Hmm.
worse, I have been like super sick this entire
Yeah.
week. I'm still pretty sick. So bear with me if I
Yeah.
sound weird or if I'm like loopy.
I mean, honestly, when you told me that you were sick and that you were still gonna film today, I was like, oh no, it's gonna be rough. And then you like got on, and I'm like, oh no, you look perfectly normal and totally fine. Like,
Oh,
so
thanks.
how dare you?
This is not how I've looked all week. Don't you worry.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Anyways, let's get into the Vanderpump Rules
Yeah.
season 11 trailer. So, you know what's actually really funny about this is we even did a video of the timeline, right, of Vanderpump Rules
Hmm.
season 11 because of all the leaks. And
Yes.
I think we had said that like we felt like we had a pretty good idea of how the season was going to shake up like because of
Hmm.
this. And then we see the trailer and I really am eating my words. Like we could not have been more wrong on like just like the general, it was so much more than I would have expected. There were
Hmm.
bombshells I wasn't expecting, like some things I was expecting, like the
Yeah.
general vibe. Number
Yes.
one, with Ariana
Yeah.
coming out, this is going to be her time, this is her redemption, like we are here for it, we love it. But I don't think everyone loves it, right? Like
No.
you're starting to see some of the cracks
Yes.
in the rallying around Ariana, and I think some of the cast is being a little jealous.
Oh, definitely. And I do think that like luckily BravoCon probably gave us like a little bit of a sneak peek into that as well. Just some of the dynamics happening between like Scheana and Ariana and Lala and like all of the people around like them. Plus like obviously how they're feeling about Tom Sandoval. Like I think we knew that some of these things were coming, unfortunately,
Yeah,
thanks to BravoCon. But yeah, completely different than what we anticipated at the end of last season when we were like watching the reunion unfold and wondering about like what could it be like when season 11 comes back and clearly everybody's going to be Team Ariana and like no one's going to film with Tom. Like, what's he going
yeah.
to do? Oh my God.
Yeah. I mean,
Uh,
I did think like we saw that they were slowly starting to film with him. I do think that
mhm.
it's not going to be as centered around Ariana and Tom, which I think is
Yeah.
a good thing. Like I think that like we want to see some different things play out.
Mhm.
Um I just didn't think that the different things playing out was going to be Schwartz and Scheana having made out at some point in time.
I know. Oh my god, that was definitely the most like unexpected, and like obviously we're still left wondering like when did this happen? Like what do you have any kind of like hypothesis about when it might have occurred?
You know what's funny? You know when it I don't remember what season this was, but there's a
Mhm.
season when Schwartz is made out with a girl in Vegas
Yes.
and they never say who that girl in Vegas was.
Ooh.
I don't think that was the one because that would be so bad. But also,
Well, yeah.
nothing good happens in Vegas. Like this
Clearly
cast
nothing
needs
does
to
it. No.
stop going to Vegas.
100%. They should be banned from Vegas at this point. Then I guess that's gonna make it hard to go to BravoCon next year. But um,
Petition to have BravoCon not be in Vegas.
yeah, have it in New York or something. That'd be amazing. Um, yeah, I don't know. I guess that's a really good possibility that it could have been Sheena, but I am a little foggy now with like the timeline of when that would have been versus when she would have still been with Shay, because obviously that like wouldn't be
True.
super kosher. Um,
I hope
yeah,
it was like before the I hope it was before VPR ever started like VPR started.
I
Like
don't
that's like
think
the
it.
only time that like I
I,
feel like you could give it no, because
okay,
Katie and Tom still would have been together, and yeah,
yeah, they
Sheena
still
and
would have been
Shay still would have been
together.
together. So like there's no
Yeah,
timeline that exists in which someone
no.
wasn't cheating.
No, there's no like good timeline, unfortunately. And just like knowing like Sheena's and Katie's relationship and how, tumultuous that has been over the years, but also how close they were. What was that in like season 5 when Sheena was helping Katie plan her wedding? And
Oh yeah.
Katie like wasn't friends with Stassi. Yeah, I think that
True.
like any proximity to the makeout in that season would be very bad.
Also like why did Schwartz air this now? Like this is
Yeah.
clearly something that they were going to bury forever. Like
Yeah.
it's giving Austin and Taylor making a pact to not tell anyone about their kiss on Southern Charm and
But
then
then at least
Austin rolling over immediately.
yeah, but at least Austin and Taylor like made like oh sorry, I guess at least Schwartz and Sheena made it like a good probably like 5-10 years before it actually came out. Versus Austin who like literally was like, oh yeah, I guess that happened like within 2 minutes. Like yeah,
That's true.
yeah,
That's true.
at
Yeah, I
least
don't know. That's a weird one. Also
it
like a
is.
little sus that this is coming out now, right? Like
Yeah.
obviously there's some motivating factor in sharing this
Yes.
little bit of tea.
Yeah, well, and I do think that it was interesting because I felt like the Bravo producers, when they like edited this together, they did try to kind of like make it look like maybe this makeout was like affecting Brock and Sheena's relationship and like as if
Yeah.
this was like some kind of big reveal. But I think we all kind of have a sense that this is probably like from the past and this would not be something that would be a problem with, Brock and Sheena at this point in time.
Yeah. And that's it. And you know how there's like synopses now, like kind of telling where everyone's coming at from the
Yeah.
season. Like
Oh, yeah.
Sheena is like doing XYZ. And I think it was like Sheena and Brock are like having like trouble as they're trying to like find, their footing in their relationship with a toddler. So like I feel like their
Um,
problems are not about that.
One thing that I hate about this upcoming coming season is that like the thing that was so great about season 10 is that Brock was like such a minimal
Yeah.
person in it, and clearly season 11 that is not going to be the case. Like we didn't get a huge amount of him in the trailer, but we know that he's there and we know that we're going to see him and we know that he would film with Sandoval because he clearly like cozied up to Sandoval a la Ariana in Watch What Happens Live. So
Yes.
I'm not looking forward to that. That's the whole reason I didn't watch season 9. Like was
Oh
him.
God, season 9 was a disaster.
It was so bad.
Uh,
He was so obnoxious.
I know, it's true. I wonder what he's going to be like this season. Well, and then another thing that we're not shocked by is Sheena flip-flopping and
Ugh.
like trying to play victim, which we've now seen in, I guess, what may be the start of another kind of like tour like not apology
Yeah,
tour, but like,
yeah, but like a
similar
podcast
to last
tour.
season where she's
Yeah.
trying to get ahead of a narrative.
Hmm.
But I don't think her podcasts really, helped her out at all. Did you see that snippet?
I did. I saw so many reaction videos. I saw so much about that. Even like all the memes that people are generating. Like this is very on brand for Scheana. And even in the trailer, she says, what does she says? Here, I'm gonna pull it. I miss who he used to be to me. And it's just like,
Yeah.
of course, to you, because for you, Scheana, everything is about you. Like, come on. Oh my
No.
god.
Well, that's it. So for those who haven't seen it, actually I don't think we haven't even seen the full thing because it's like you have
No.
to be a subscriber to see this podcast. It's on I think it's called the Hot Mic podcast, with, like
Yes,
Alex
yeah.
Baskin.
Yeah.
But essentially, like the snippets that have come out is that Scheana is saying, I have things to work through so that I can be a present mother, kind of
Yeah.
talking about how like she's grappling with like being friends with Tom, and like she always just like plays the mom card in that scenario.
I know. I
And
know.
then the most viral piece of this is, I don't know if Ariana will ever understand how hard this was for me personally.
Yeah. It's just like, are you for real right now, Scheana? Like, I just cannot. This is the guy that last year at the reunion, he was the one defending like Raquel's like version of events for the restraining order, and you were so mad at
That's so
him
true.
because of
That's so
that.
true.
Like, you thought that he was putting you and your like livelihood and your child in jeopardy because of Raquel. And it's just like now you're back with him because he's gonna film with Brock, and so you're like, well, whatever. Like I'm fine with him because at least Brock's gonna get a paycheck because he'll film with Sandoval.
I mean, yeah, kinda. And then
That's
it's just it's
yeah.
classic
Sorry.
Scheana. No,
It
no.
is.
She's also like another thing she said is like, like, and I'm trying to be there for Ariana because like, it's not about me, but it is kind of about me, and I always
Mm.
put everyone else first. And you're like,
Oh
girl,
my
what is
god.
your like revisionist history? And look, like we've talked about this in the past. Like I did feel sorry for Scheana in this. Like she lost a lot, right? Like she lost Tom and she lost Raquel. Like those were her two very good friends.
Sure.
And there's a I mean, like there was, she was affected by that.
Yeah. Okay.
But for her to sit here and be like, Ariana doesn't understand
Yeah.
how difficult this was for me, and like,
Yeah.
why does she even want to be friends with him so badly? Like, I don't
Right.
understand. And like, she knows that like Ariana's drawn a line in the sand, and that's just like what it is going to be. And
Yeah.
she's going back to the like, well, he didn't do anything to me personally, but as you just
Yeah.
said, like, he fully did do something to you personally.
Yeah. Well, and that's just it. And
But
like the
also,
thing.
that's not.
No, sorry.
No, I was just gonna say like that's like the she didn't do anything to me. He just like totally destroyed the life of my best
Yeah,
friend.
yeah,
Like,
exactly. Like, well, yeah, exactly. And I just feel like so we've obviously had this problem many a times with Scheana. Scheana loves to like play both sides of the field, like she wants to play both sides of the fence, whatever the expression is. And she wants to be able to, like be friends with everybody. And when you are a friend to everybody, you are a friend to nobody. And like
yeah, that's it.
when she's had this problem in the past, it hasn't really been that big of a deal, right? Like it was kind of like between like her and like Stassi or her and Katie. And so like she wasn't like really like that good of friends with them. So like, you know, them being mean girls to her and her being a mean girl to them or whatever, like it wasn't that big of a deal. It didn't bother us that much. We kind of maybe felt certain ways about Scheana, but at the same time, like we could kind of like defend her a little bit more. But like now this is like indefensible. Like this person like cheated on your best friend for like 7 months, no matter how much he downplays what he actually did and is like, oh, it was only a couple times, oh, she came on to me, I was at the lowest point in my life, like whatever he has said to you that to like justify this behavior, like the fact that Scheana doesn't see it for what it really is and for this like narcissist like defending his actions, and she's just like, well, I'm gonna be friends with this guy because he's always been so nice to me and I don't care about how he has treated my best friend. It boggles the mind. It boggles the mind, and it's teaching Ariana who her real friends are, right? Like, I guess that's
Yeah,
the moral of the story.
yeah. I mean,
Can't.
it would be really sad if this friendship disintegrates because she chooses Tom, essentially.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
like, it's we'll see
It's
the
what's
bed
gonna
that
have to
she's gonna
happen,
make
though,
for
right?
herself.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
Even for her to have gone onto that podcast with Alex Baskin and been like, I went to Tom's room in Las Vegas at BravoCon to tell him I don't like how you're treating Ariana. I was there. That was what I was doing in his room that night. It was telling him that I didn't like how he was treating Ariana. Like this whole like thing that like this like repertoire that she's kind of come up with of like what she does and like how she like behaves and what she's telling Tom. It's like, were you really like, telling him off? Like, and even in the telling that she was saying to Alex Baskin, she's like, and I had told him that in the elevator, and I had told him that behind backstage, and then I told him again in his room. Like, it's just like, it's so unbelievable that you actually did that, and that you continue to just like hang out with this person to tell him that you don't like how he's talking about Ariana. Like, we don't believe that. Like, if you really didn't like how he was talking about Ariana, you would just leave him alone. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. No,
I'm
you're
sorry.
so
I'm
right.
I'm so impassioned about it. I have so many thoughts and feelings. I
Well,
can't.
okay. Let's jump to another thing that I know
Yeah.
we're both going to have a lot of feelings about, which is something that is like the last line of the trailer, just skipping a little bit
Hmm.
all over the place here.
Yeah.
You have Lala and they did build up this moment real nice. They have like
It was
super
perfect.
dramatic like music going, everyone's
Yeah.
looking super stressed, and then Lala's like, I've never heard of someone who gets cheated on, and suddenly she becomes God.
Yeah.
uh,
La 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 la.
I
uh,
cannot with this hypocrisy,
I
honestly.
know. I
Like,
know.
just like the amount that she's flip-flopped on like going all in on Scandoval to, oh my god,
Hmm.
this is so annoying, get over
Hmm.
it, is just like, and like, yeah, this is reading as jealousy. Like
It is. Oh, big time. Big time jealousy. And then for her to like get onto her Amazon Live and basically say like, "Oh no, I'm not jealous of Ariana. I'm so happy for her. I'm so happy for all the opportunities that she's gotten from this. That was just taken out of context." Like,
yeah.
really? Really? This is and she went on to say, so that was taken out of context. And this is what the trailer is meant to do. The trailer is meant to rile people up. It's most meant to be, getting you guys to have conversations. And like, if I'm not doing my job, if you guys aren't talking about me, like, whatever.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh my God. I mean, sure, I guess that is your job, right? You are a reality TV star. You're supposed to get like to generate excitement, but like, there's no way that that was taken that out of context. Like, you said it. That's
No.
what happened. You said
Yeah.
that. You
Well,
said those words.
well, that's it. And it's also just like, I just hate the way that she's playing it as just being like, she's always been like, I am so to the point, like I am like
Yeah.
no bullshit, like I am a truth teller, like I live in my truth.
Hmm.
And she won't really like acknowledge that she too has capitalized on Scandoval, and she
A
has
hundred
like a
percent.
plethora, like all of her podcast episodes were about Scandoval. She made merch on Scandoval, and like now that she can't really insert herself into that drama anymore, or
Hmm.
she's like, oh, like this is the worst, like get over it. I'm sure there's going to be a get over it storyline, I'm sure of it.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Like, it's time to move on. He's paid his price. He's done his time. We all yelled at him. Like, it's time for us to get over it. And it's just like, okay,
Well,
Lala.
she
So
said
is
it
it
at
time for us?
BravoCon.
Yes. Yeah, I know. For us to get over it. And it's like, oh, so we're supposed to, this thing that we all just experienced together, we're supposed to just get over? Let alone
Yeah.
Ariana, who, like, it literally just happened to. Like, you would never hope somebody would say, get over it to you and whatever happened with you and Randall Emmett. Like,
Well, that's it. And there's speculation too that she would have thought that she would have gotten that type of reception after,
yeah.
Randall, and it didn't really get that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I mean, yeah, I know, but that's just it. You can't like compare these two things, right? Like, the Randall wasn't a public figure really the way that like Tom Sandoval was, right? Like, he was like a staple on this TV show. Like, we were all fans. We all like, it was the perfect storm, and it is what it is. Like, nobody had like, nobody loved Randall Emmett. Nobody was like, I don't know. I just think that it's like such a
it's
different experience.
it's apples and oranges. Yeah, it's really like not something that you can compare. But
Yeah.
yeah, that was like to be expected, but
Yeah.
disappointing. And
Very
also remember
disappointing.
someone, I forget what it was, but there was like something on social media on like Instagram recently where they were like, oh, like the cast is starting, like I
Mm,
see the tide might turn on
yes.
Ariana or something.
Yeah.
And then Ariana responded like, I wouldn't be surprised if that's what
The,
happened, if like that's
yeah.
the way that like people turned out.
Yes.
um
Yeah, which is
so, but you know what, girl
upsetting.
is getting it, like Ariana.
Yes.
So I actually I
She
watched
stays
an
winning.
episode of Dancing with, yeah, I
Yeah.
watched an episode of Dancing with the Stars just because I
Mhm.
wanted to see her on it. I've never watched
Yeah.
it. And then I watched
Nice.
the whole entire season. It is so
Whoa.
good.
Oh my god, amazing.
It's so fun and she's
Oh, good.
incredible. And like
Yeah.
you feel such pride watching her, and like
Oh.
her last dance, like because she gets to the finals. She didn't end up
Yeah.
winning, but she made number 3,
Amazing.
which
Good
is
for her.
incredible.
Love for that.
And her last dance was like to like Who Run the World,
Oh my god,
and it was just all
amazing.
these like girls empowerment. She was wearing like a red latex like Britney Spears
Ooh.
esque. Oh,
Oh
it was
yes, I saw
so
that
good.
outfit. Yeah. Oh,
Uh,
fun.
but yeah, just a little tidbit, but
Yeah.
she's killing it, and we're here to see it, even if some
Yeah.
other
Cast
castmates may
members.
not be.
Yeah.
we
100%.
we also get a little bit of, okay, so we get some info on the Toms.
Yes.
The worm is worming is what
Yes.
Ariana says. And then you see Tom Sandoval saying he's
Ugh.
apparently single and ready to mingle. Like, oh, sorry,
Tamango.
young, hot, single, ready to
Single, ready
mingle.
to
Don't know
mingle.
with
Yeah.
who.
Yeah. No. Too many
um,
people, I'm sure.
and it looks like his
So,
his storyline is going to be about his pining for Raquel, I guess, which we're also seeing him kind of like talk about on podcasts.
yeah. Oh God, I know. This whole new narrative of her being the one that approached him and her being the one that, like, he was so down and out and she made the first move, and
He was vulnerable, didn't you
he was
know?
so vulnerable. Like, he couldn't help it. Like,
Wow, it's just like how
way
quickly
to be thrown
he
under the
has,
bus.
yeah, how quickly he has changed his tune of like
Hmm.
this goddess Raquel who came and took
Yeah.
him away from scary
Yeah.
Ariana.
Yeah, I know. Ariana
Like,
was so mean to me. Like, she was like beating me up. She was like yelling at me. She was just the worst.
yeah. He's actually not in the trailer that much, and I'm like not mad about it.
No, I'm not mad about it at all. I'm not mad about it at all. I feel like we're still gonna get too much of him during the season, but yeah, I'm happy for it.
Probably. The Toms have trouble in paradise as well. We see
Yeah.
Tom Schwartz saying like he doesn't know where he stands in his relationship with Tom. So
Yeah.
I will
That's
look
good.
forward to yeah, I look forward to seeing Schwartz like put his foot down a little bit.
I mean, let's see if what happens.
Yeah,
We'll give
I
him the
don't.
benefit of the doubt until the season actually airs, at least.
Yeah. And then another thing that was really weird that I didn't expect is there's a
Mhm.
love triangle
Oh, I
between
know.
Tom Schwartz and Katie
Katie
and another
Maloney.
girl.
Yeah. And what did she say? She's like, I have the crush on the worst couple.
Yeah, and
Yeah, that's
like
gonna be weird. I don't know if we needed that, but I guess we'll see how that
that's
plays out.
so, it's so weird. It's so
Yeah.
weird. And then something that okay, I don't know if you caught this. I had to actually like pause it so many times because we just got like flashes of things.
Yeah, I know.
But
Yeah, literally every
Schwartz
time.
Schwartz is like, you effed my best friend. And it seemed like he was talking to Katie.
Yeah, I think I was looking at that one too, and I actually like turned on the subtitles so that I could like see it properly. Even then it didn't make it much more clear. I think that he might have said you literally effed up my best friend. Like, as if like
Oh.
yeah, so like as if like her yelling at Tom or like something like that kind of like happened. Yeah, I don't think it's you effed
Yeah.
my best friend.
Yeah. Okay, that makes more
Yeah.
sense. I
But
thought that that was like taken out of context in
I
some
think I
way.
think it I think it was like specifically like placed in there to be very like misleading and like, yeah. Like,
Yeah.
what?
Okay.
Katie and Tom Sandoval, what?
Yeah. That's when hell has definitely frozen
Literally.
over.
Yeah, like I don't think Katie, like if that happens, I think we have to do like a wellness check on Katie.
uh, and
uh,
then Katie and Lala are gonna get into it too.
yeah.
Where Katie tells Lala that she's a bitch much, and Lala's like, "You're always a bit much."
I know. And this one I'm really sad for because I really enjoyed their friendship last season. And I just like I could kind of tell already, like just like through Instagram this year, that like they weren't as close and stuff, and it makes me upset to know that like they're not in the same place that they were last year. But
Do you do you
bound to
think though?
happen. I
Because like
do think so. I
they
do
all
think
throw their
so.
words around pretty easily, and then they'll be like best friends the next day.
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like they're like on Instagram, like they're not as like they don't seem like they're seeing each other very much. I don't get the vibe that they're very close anymore. I think because especially Lala has become so close with Scheana and Brock, like I think that that's
Mm.
unfortunately caused a bit of a rift in their relationship.
Aw, yeah, that
Yeah,
sucks.
I know.
Um, and then we get like a blink if you miss it Jack's appearance.
Uh,
And
I'm not ready.
his bulging vein.
Oh, no. I'm really not ready for the Jack's return. I'm not here for it.
I know, I know. What have we done? What
I
has the
know.
public done
How did we
that
do this?
there's 3 shows that Jax Taylor's on or
Yeah,
going to be on?
at least.
Uh,
Oh my god.
like this man, we didn't need to feed this man's ego.
No,
But
we did
he's
not.
yelling at Lisa, saying
Yeah.
that she wrote him off. And then
Mhm.
Lisa calls him a hypocrite. So I am looking forward to that conversation.
Yeah, I do look forward to Lisa at least yelling at him. I think that'll be enjoyable.
I do, because
Yeah.
like after he said that this was his show, like he is never
Yeah.
getting back in Lisa's good books. And I
Yeah.
actually wonder how they even convinced Lisa to let him back on.
I know. Well, I mean, I think Lisa will do anything if it's like good for the sake of the show. I
True.
do. So one thing that we kind of like discovered in like our like a timeline recap last summer after the filming had finished was just how many people were coming onto the show. Like there have been so many people that were filming last year, and I'm surprised that like we didn't get any of those people in this in
Trailer.
this trailer. And even the fact that we got like a moment of Jax, like it feels like it's not nearly as much as what we're actually going to get in the season. So I'm kind of curious to see how that is.
That's true. Like we do know that Kristen Dowdy makes an appearance.
Yeah,
Who else?
Billy Lee, is
Oh
that her name?
yeah.
Billy Lee's gonna make an appearance. Like I think because they also like get in kind of like a bunch of like Tom's friends because they need him to film with some people. I feel like there might even be like some like I feel like there was a couple new like confirmed like at least like castmates or like friends of that were coming on board.
Yeah.
We didn't see anybody, which we don't even need. We did like the thing is like clearly if this is the trailer that they've been able to produce with just their normal cast of characters, like do you really need new people? Um, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, we do get a sighting of someone new, Joe.
Oh, true. Yes. Yeah. Very weird dynamic happening already with Schwartz and Joe, which I guess carries on from the weird dynamic that we saw of them in season 10, too. So on brand.
Yeah. Well, so Joe comes in, yeah, in 2 scenes actually. One with
Yeah.
Schwartz saying like my friend, this is my friend Joe and she's hot or something
Yeah.
weird.
Yes. Yeah. That's exactly what he says.
And then later she's like, "Are you like embarrassed of me?"
Yeah.
So continuing
Which
on with
is
the
sad. Like,
yeah.
this guy like just loves to mistreat women and like say what we will about Joe and say what we've heard about from Katie's side of things, but nobody wants to be in that kind of situationship.
No, that's true. Actually, have you been watching Winter House?
No, I haven't. I'm so behind on
Oh, that's true.
everything.
It's true. Oh my god, it's so
I'm so
good.
sad.
Honestly, Winter House has like every episode is just so good.
Oh, that's so
But
funny. I
again,
can't believe that.
Schwartz, like, he gets you. He gets you with
Yeah.
his stupid like oh shucks
Oh
attitude.
shucks.
And
Oh
I
me?
also think like he's in
What could I
he's in
do that
like
was
this
so
bubble.
bad?
It's funny because in Winter House he's in like this bubble of people who don't know anything about him and they don't know
Yeah.
any of his past and they're just like
Yeah.
you're the greatest. And him
You're
in
killing
that
it, Schwartz.
environment, yeah, him in that environment is like
Mhm.
it's like you're like oh, but then you're like
Yeah.
no, then you remember.
Yeah, that's just it. Like he is like beyond like one of the most like toxic people I feel like on Bravo, and he gets such a good, uh, he just gets such a good storyline because like we're like, how could we be mad at him? Like
Yeah, no, he's
he's
definitely
really
flown under the radar.
He has. He's flown under the radar. He's been very lucky that he's been paired alongside Jax and Sandoval for all these years.
It's true. So
Uh,
I think that's like in a nutshell the trailer.
I think
How are you
so.
feeling?
God, I think okay. I don't know. I'm excited. I'm excited. I can say that for sure. I think I'm disappointed in Scheana because she had a chance to really do something there. I'm I'm probably more upset about Lala because I just feel like Lala had such a good season last year, and for her to like now be
Yeah.
having like this like pretty bad season, like it would have been one thing for Lala to forgive Tom. It's another thing for her to be like forgiving Tom and going after Ariana as this like I don't know who somebody who
Well,
like becomes a god because they get cheated on. Like
yeah. Well, that's it. Like, why? Like, why can't we just like,
why can't we have nice
help each
things?
other?
Yeah. What about
Yeah.
you? How are
No.
you feeling post this trailer
I
release?
I am cautiously optimistic.
Okay, all right. I get that. I get that.
Like, because as much as I'm disappointed in the same two things that you mentioned, I do think that these dynamics will make for new drama that's not
Mm,
solely based on Scandoval. I was
yes.
worried, like, we talked about it, we're like, how do you top, or not even top, but how do you even compete
Hmm.
with what was Scandoval? Like, you just
Yeah.
can't.
Yeah.
um and I'm happy that like it seems like it still has good beats to it. Like, I think it'll
Hmm.
still make for interesting stories. I do hope that they don't go too hard on it. Like, even the production quality of this trailer was so much more movie like than I feel like a lot that
Mm,
we've gotten in the past. Like, I hope they don't try
yeah.
to force drama that's not there.
I don't think that they need to. Like honestly, it feels like there's a lot of drama
No,
in this friend
same.
group. There's a lot, and that's just it. Like the while the bad thing about like Ariana succeeding and all of her friends being jealous of her is like, you know, the toxicity of that like dynamic. It makes for incredible TV, right? Like you give one person, it's like a social experiment. You give one person a lot of something, and everybody else nothing. Maybe you give them like little bits and pieces here and there, but like very much like one person gets something and everybody wants it, and then they're like, oh my god, well now how do I tear her down and like
No,
destroy her because she has the shiny thing I want.
it's true. I also could see her now walking away
Yeah.
eventually from
Oh
Vanderpump Rules.
yeah.
She even said it like in her, so in one of the they call it like a package on Dancing with the Stars. Before you see their dance, you see like a short kind of like
Okay.
video of them like in practice, which is really
Yeah.
cool. And on the finale, she's like, I feel like Dancing with the Stars is like the beginning of like the rest of my life. Like, I feel
Oh
like
my
I've
god.
reignited my passions and because like one of the comments she keeps getting on the show is that like her uh, what's it called, basically like her performance is incredible,
Okay.
like not just her
Okay.
dancing, but she's like her
Oh my
expressions
god.
and her like lyric, like her, like feeling the music, like she puts on a show. And
Ah,
she's like, that's what I love to do. And she's like, I
yeah.
forgot about that.
Oh my god, I love
So
that for her. That's so beautiful. And to know
yeah.
that she's like now
And
gonna
now
go off to Broadway and like,
yeah,
you
she's
know,
gonna be in Chicago, right?
yeah, she's gonna be in Chicago, she's gonna be Roxy Hart. So
Oh man,
exciting.
is
I love that
does
for
that
her.
does that role just go to every Bravo
Yes.
person
Yes.
now?
Yes, that is famously the thing about Chicago in New York is that it's often played by like not I don't want to say gimmicky, but like it's often that they specifically go after people who are gonna like be a draw to the cast. So
Okay. Well,
they've had like Jinx Monsoon from Drag Race on there, and they've had like Lisa Rinna and Erica Jane. So they get all the Bravo celebrities. They're
well,
gonna
that's
get other
why
people
she's
too.
like after Dancing with the Stars, like she's on such a different level. Like,
Hmm.
oh, Lisa also came to the finale of Dancing with the
Oh,
Stars.
fun. Well, and Lisa had been on Dancing with the Stars
Yeah.
too. Oh, amazing. Oh, well, that's good. That's nice. I'm glad that she did that. Even Charlie apparently went to go see her, which is really nice as well, that she's still getting some support from Charlie, even though Charlie's not on the show anymore.